All right. Sorry, that was loud. If you're listening on headphones, hopefully the volume's working today. How you guys doing? We made it through the first major rush. Yeah, it's pretty calm now, I would assume, for most people, as far as buying stuff for other people, which is good. I hope if you haven't gotten everything that you need for everybody else that you do fairly soon. Don't put it off. Just get it over with, and then you can kind of relax. Because last minute shopping sucks. It sucks. And I know a lot of people that are like really minimalist this year, more so than other years. And so it's kind of good in a way. It's not so much focused on like, I have to get this. It's just like, like get one or two meaningful things for the people that you really love and you care about and go from there. But yeah, we had a Black Friday thing where everybody put everything on sale, which is, yeah, I think you can understand why. But we're here today. We're here to talk about some budget guitars. I've gotten some interesting comments and some interesting kind of ideas about this topic because some people think that I'll only play expensive or high-end guitars, which I find ridiculous because I think I've demoed more budget guitars in the last 6 months than pretty much anything else. Unless budget guitar only counts as like 100, 200 bucks. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. All right, let's see how you guys are doing. Got Greg, Dan, yeah, rest in peace, Steve, indeed, Soul Man, and Rafa. Okay, there's a question there. If you guys want to answer it, be my guest. What brand makes your favorite guitar under $1,000, or just gear in general? Although really, it should be guitar because you could get some pretty expensive things for what they are for under $1,000. Like Strymon. They have pedals that are almost $700. The Big Sky MX is a $680 reverb pedal. It does a whole lot, but still, most people would say that's really expensive, and that typically falls under the $1,000 budget thing. But yeah, I'm mostly talking about guitars. So I already know a certain 3-letter brand where that guy, man, he said some other stuff. We may or may not get to it, involving somebody who's passed away and can't speak for himself on it. It's weird. It's really weird. But yeah, I would say no. It doesn't count, Jerry. It doesn't count, Jerry. I'm gonna clarify for everybody. Used guitars don't count. This is way too easy and way too broad if it's used guitars. If it's used guitars, we're not looking at anything new. Period for $1,000, in my opinion, at least. It's got to be new. That's your trick. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, far too many options under $1,000 used. Good evening, Paul. PRS and Epiphone? It's like, everything I don't like and put it all in one box. I'll tell you what's funny about the Epiphone stuff, man. I know Greg's a big fan of it, too. Can you guys see? Oh, no, you can't see. It's right to the other side of the Marshall. There's a gig bag. I just got my last 3 guitars that I'm borrowing. That's another thing. Everybody's like, oh my God, like, you YouTubers, you get a new guitar every single week. It's like, yeah, they're not mine. They're not my guitars. I'm borrowing them. But it's a Les Paul Studio. It's a Gibson. And when I play that and I look at Epiphones, I just maniacally laugh. I don't get it. Who is buying these? Who in their right mind is spending $1,000 or more for an Epiphone when an American Nitro finished Gibson that is far better in every measurable aspect isn't that much more? I mean, maybe I'm the crazy one. But that's just me. Gretsch make good guitars. I like the older Gretsch. I don't care so much for the newer ones. I don't think they're bad. I just think the value sucks. We're just being honest here. I mean, it's part of the market. But the import hardware on them, the fact that they're all Laurel, even $1,000 guitars with Laurel, that's a terrible look. And those $1,000 guitars come with nothing, not even a gig bag. That's an awful look. You could even argue that the Epiphones and everything I just said about the Epiphones, I think the Epiphones better value. Now the cheaper Epiphones, I don't have a problem with those. Like, I know those, what do they call it? The stupid deals of the day. Those Epiphone 335s, not like the super wannabe Gibson ones with the Gibson headstock on them, like the normal Epiphones. They're like $400. That's fine. And that's part of the reason, like, I think the Squires are a good deal, like Jerry said, because they're not so exorbitantly priced for what they are. That's my issue with all of that stuff. Like, I feel like the Gretches, for what they are, way too much money. The Epiphones, the higher end ones, way too much money. The Epiphones, like the ones that the other ones, the less expensive ones, like $400, $500 new, especially the semi hollow body ones. That's not bad. It's not bad. I'd much rather have a D'Angelico, but not everybody likes the same stuff. Not everybody likes the same neck carves. So there's a lot to consider with that, because just like Epiphone as a brand, they kind of go all over the place. It's more so the high end ones that I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Well, you can buy all the Epis you want. You can buy all the Epiphones you want. I don't care. They're your guitars. You know, Epiphone that swings to your guitar, which is a copy of Gretsch. Yes, they also had a something cat. Was it the Uptown Cat? No, that's the Uptown Strat. They had something really weird with a strange vibrato arm on it that came in blue, red, and I believe green. And it was like $600 or $700 an Epiphone. Oh, that was pretty unique looking, I guess. Never tried one though. It was the Uptown Cat? Yeah, that's something like that. Can I travel back to 2000? No, you cannot. You can't travel back to 2000, because if we're going that far, man, I remember a lot of things that were well under $1,000. Do you remember what, if you're in America? If you're not in America, you're gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. Do you remember when some Best Buys carried guitars? They had like a whole music section. You used to be able to go rob that place. You could get a new American Standard for $5.99. An American Standard for $5.99. If you wanted one of those, well, now they're known as the Venteras. You know, the Mexican reissues of the 50s and 60s. Those were $400 new at Best Buy. It doesn't seem like that far away to me. It really doesn't. But no, times have definitely flown. Because what is Ventera now? $12.50? $12.99? It's a lot. It's a lot. But I would take a Ventera over any Epiphone. Tell you that much. Okay, 335. Cheap crap guitars. How are the 2000s Mexican Jags? It really depends what model you really want to talk on, because they vary. Those original classic player ones, the ones where the vibrato is closer up to the bridge, they came in Candy Apple Red, Sunburst, of course, and I believe Ollie White. Those are pretty good for what they are. Very modernish. I like the Jazzmaster version a little bit better. The black ones of those. But yeah, they're not bad. And those are guitars, again, that you could sneeze and land on one new for $500 or $600. And now they're worth double that, like mangled, used. So that's a kind of unique case, because the Jaguars are harder to come by. But I would say the best age for the Fender Jaguar Mexican production would be the classic lacquer series. Those came in Fiesta and Lake Placid Blue. I believe the Lake Placid Blues were much less made in much less quantities. I apologize, but I had a Fiesta Red one. They had really skinny necks, which is the reason that I didn't end up keeping it. But those ones had synthetic nut on them, but they had a nitro finish, decent fretwork on them. Came with a hard shell. I thought they were pretty good. I think that's as good as you're gonna get for a Mexican Jag. Earlier than that, they didn't have like a regular classic 60s Jaguar like they did for the Telly and the Strat. So it's just a little bit different. That's all. Are you still gigging? Are you finding gigging dead? Gigging will never die. Gigging is the only thing that's like still fun. Not that this isn't fun, but the thing about gigging is You would think it would be the other way around, right? Playing in front of people is so much less stressful and so much less pressure than filming a video. It's not even close. Like I can go crazy at a gig. I don't care. I don't care. I have so much fun. I know that every single thing that I say will not be scrutinized. I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about like reviews or doing anything. We're playing music, but like when you sit and you film a video, you question everything you say, everything you play. Have I hit every single pickup? Have I done this? Have I played this in the last like 2 or 3 demos? Have I repeating myself? Am I perfectly in tune? Is the tone good from the microphone going into the thing? It's just so many variables compared to you go out and you play live, you just have fun, people smile, and then they give you money. And then if you have a bad gig, that's the end of it. It doesn't stay up on the internet forever. Not unless you're, a national touring band. But for people like me who aren't, no. It's a godsend. I've always loved gigging more. But as a whole, I don't think it's dead, and I don't think it will die. If anything, I think there'll be maybe a resurgence with gigging and with live music, like real live music, not the crap where they have backing tracks and all this automation stuff. And yeah, I think that stuff is going to start to be really frowned upon the more and more that AI becomes a part of everyday life. And I'm not trying to sit here, we're not going to dive into any of that extracurricular stuff, but my point is, and my logic for it, people are going to get tired of everything being absolutely perfect. People are going to get tired of everything being fake, because that's what it is. It's fake. So stuff like live performances where it's real, that's going to make a big comeback in my opinion. We'll see though. We'll see how many venues are left to even hold those sorts of things. Be fun to open one. Too much money though. What do you use a rhythm switch or bass cut for when playing a Jag? Well, two different purposes. Two totally different purposes. So, the strangle, to choke, I really like that for a variety of different applications. Number one, and majority of the thing that I think people get wrong with this, if you don't gig, if you've never gigged a Jaguar, and if you've never recorded a Jaguar, you probably aren't going to see the value in the strangle. If you're just playing by yourself, you'll never understand, like, oh my God, this was genius. And this is why I think the Jaguar is like the best, like ultimate design that Leo ever made. I think it's definitely better than the Jazzmaster. It's better than the Mustang. Tele and Strat are different though, in their own ways, but I think just like as a do everything like concept idea, I think the Jaguar is the best. And the reason why I think the Strangle is so good, when you're recording or you're playing with other people, you might think that this is a really bright sounding guitar, and it is in general. But the more instruments get added into the mix, the guitar, when it gets EQ'd by either the engineer that's doing the mixing or the engineer that's at the front of house, if you're playing live, they're going to cut certain frequencies out. So what makes the Strangle cool, if you're playing with gain a little bit, or even not, like this is just one example. If you're playing with gain and you're on the neck pickup just as it is, you might find even on a Jag that's a bright instrument, and certainly, brighter than something like a Jazzmaster, the neck pickup on a Jazzmaster is really woofy. It might be a little too much. It might not be sitting right. And just that little switch where you put the Strangle on is going to help you cut right through. It's like it literally just goes whoosh, right through. So you're not fighting with a kick drum and a bass drum. And that's at minimum. That's only if you're playing with like a 3-piece, right? The other cool context of that is with surf music, it cuts through really well too. A lot of surf music, if you just go back and listen to it, there's a lot of tom work. Tom work is low frequencies, right? So if they're riding on that, you can really put the guitar on its own plane so that the bass is going to sit here. Then you have your toms somewhere in between the bass. And then the Jaguar with the Strangle, when you have either the position of the neck pickup and the bridge pickup combined and the strangle-on, or even just the bridge pickup. I know a lot of people are going to say this is crazy, but if you just have the bridge pickup with the strangle-on, not only is that good for surf and cutting through in a mix, that's also a kind of a hidden thing that people did with country records because it just twanged so hard and it was really cool. So for the strangle switch, that would be my reasoning for it. With the rhythm circuit, kind of two other different applications. One again with gain, one again just clean. The obvious one, clean. It makes the guitar a lot jazzier because what you're doing is you're running through different volume and tone pots. The values are different. So it darkens the guitar up even more. You can play a lot of jazz, or if you just want something that's a little bit thicker sounding in general, like for a side part, it can be pretty useful. But the reason I love it so much is I like fuzz, and I like that over the top gain, like the way huge Geisha drive with the rhythm circuit on is freaking awesome. It's just this big woolly sound. It doesn't work with every sorts of genre here, but for those sorts of genres where it's like it's a little bit more aggressive and kind of meant to be garage rocky, it's fantastic. It's so good. Fuzz pedal or like a higher gain sort of circuit. Yeah, I went in on that. I love Jags. I can talk about Jags all day. Let me see. Are you still playing the drums these days? Not as much as I want to. And I'll be totally honest with you. I'm thinking about making a video about this topic in general. That drum kit is a pretty good drum kit. I looked at it. You guys can't see it. I feel the same way about the electronic drums as I do about Tonex, as I do about playing the neural plugins, as I do about Helix, as I do about anything digital. I hate it compared to playing the real thing. If this house was remote and it was silent and I didn't have, a little one and a dog and everybody like in such immediate proximity, because the thing about this house is these walls are paper thin. I would have the real kit up. I would play every day of my life. The last time I had the real kit set up, I was living in New York. I wish I had that room. I wish I had that room. It was the most beautiful room. It was kind of like a 3-season room, but not, because it had full heating in it, and all the 3 sides of it that were connected to the house were like big, tall glass. So you got all this natural light, and you could see, like during the winter, you could see all the snow on the trees. You could see the snow falling. It was so beautiful. And my drums were in there, and so were the other instruments. And I would play every day because it was my real kit. It inspires me to play it, and it makes all the difference in the world because it just feels right. And the electronic stuff, the digital stuff, I put it all in the same category. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. It's useful, and it's better than nothing. But sometimes it's not enough to get you, to me, to want to play it. It's unfortunate. You completely agree, Rafa. I think I know where you're going with this. I found precisely that. If to play, I would rather do it live, and it's a moment. A bum note is passable, while on a video it is expected to be perfect. That's the freaking problem, isn't it? It's so weird. And there's been videos I posted that got really popular. I hate those videos. I hated it like 3 days after I posted it. I was like, I gotta get rid of this. I'm like, this was awful. Like, I said something stupid, or I played like crap, or I took a bad clip, or I did this wrong, or I did that wrong. And it's just up forever. And the thing about this is, that might be your one chance. Your first impression is your only impression to somebody that was watching you on the internet. So if they just see that one video, they're going to say, oh, that guy sucks. Or that guy can't even form a sentence. Or that guy said something wrong. And that's it. They pass judgment on you entirely. And it's crazy how that works. Whereas, you play live, people are a lot more forgiving. Unless you just suck. Let's just be honest here. If you just suck for one reason or another, you show up unprepared, you're just not good enough to go out and play the songs you're trying to play. You show up drunk, or whatever it is. You have an awful, like complete show, irredeemably bad. We've all seen those. That people will remember that. But if you play a show, even if you're just playing a 40-minute set, and you miss one or two notes in that set, when they leave, they're not going to think, oh my God, that guy was awful. Can you believe you missed one note? No, because the entire product is more than just that. And they can't go back and rewind it again and analyze it and then leave you a comment telling you how bad you suck. You know, we're fragile people as musicians to begin with. The internet's not the best thing for kind of helping with that now, is it? How do you guys recover after a bum note? Yeah, no, you answered exactly what you do. The worst thing you can do if you hit a bum note is to freeze. The worst thing you do is to hit a bum note and then freeze or panic. You hit a bum note, you scratch off, and you find the next right note, and you just keep playing. You never stop. If you're playing live, you never stop. You can't. There's only been one or two instances where I was forced to. One of which, I'll never forget this too. I was young. This is before I learned how to play guitar. I was playing in a band. I was the drummer. And I did something. I don't remember if I had a 4-cymbal setup. So it was hat, crash, crash, ride. Or if it was a 3-cymbal setup. But I was on the hats. And I had to hit a crash, the hat real quick again. And then I was going over to the ride. I remember this part of the song. But I hit the crash. I go to hit the ride. I go back to go and, or I hit the crash. I go back to hit the hat. And then as I'm going to hit the ride, my stick caught on the bottom of the crash. So it went whoosh, whoosh, like 10 feet away. And the only reason I stopped was I had never had that happen even when I was practicing. Guess what I didn't have right next to me? Another drumstick. So I was like, oh shit. And yeah, I kind of panicked a little bit there. I put the stick in my right hand and I kind of whack-a-moled for the rest of the song one-handed. I made it through it. But that's a scenario where that happened to me. Oh, that's funny to think about. And my friend, he gave it to me pretty good there. He's just like, nice recovery. He's like, you looked ridiculous. He's like, you finished the song. I was like, yeah. But there was that moment where I froze because I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? But I learned because you always have to be prepared. Just like, you know, you'll see some guitarists and they'll have a rack of on the microphone stand guitar picks that they could just pick from if they drop one. It's the same thing with drumsticks. You just gotta have a little tub next to you or a little bag on your floor tom. Prefer the tub, especially if they're miking it up, because the bag's going to vibrate against the tom when you hit it. The microphone will pick it up. Honestly, all of the Epiphone traditionals you play at a Guitar Center exclusive were great for 4 or 5. You pick those over anything under $800. Well, I think $400 is where an Epiphone should be priced, period. I'm fine with that entire brand if they're priced at $400. Thumbs up. What did that Firebird cost? 17? 18? Taking the piss. Brand is taking the piss. Okay. Have you ever progressed musically via pickup music? I assume you would recommend this service. I play, like, there are a few things about pickup music. I think it's a net positive. I think TrueFire is better, if you just want me to be honest. But with pickup music, there's a few things about it. If you've never tried it, there's one thing that was like, yeah, it's so weird. So basically what they do is they break everything into modules on pickup music. And you could pick like a certain topic you want to learn, whether it's you want to learn the cage system, you want to learn to play like John Mayer. It's going to bring you through all these different modules, right? And they're short. They show like the top view of the guitar, which is unconventional because normally it's either straight on or, you know, they'll just do tabs and they'll zoom in. But it's kind of like at a weird angle. So you're basically like looking over the person's shoulder and kind of seeing a bird's eye view of what's happening. That's fine. I can get used to that a little bit. But what's really weird is like when it's time to actually like practice the module thing, I can't help but laugh because whoever had this idea at the company, I see the intention, but basically what happens is just like, all right, we're gonna do everything all together here, and you're playing to a backing track. They'll play a little bit, and then they'll say, all right, it's your turn. You're like, oh, it's my turn. He's talking to me. So you start playing, and you're trying to pay attention to what you're doing, and then the person in the video who can't watch you and can't hear you, yeah, oh, I like that. That was good. Oh, that's sweet. And I'm just like, what is happening here? I'm like, what if I was just like destroying the instrument? Everything I'm doing is wrong, and I get this guy telling me how great it sounds. It's a small thing, but I just thought that was so weird. That was so weird to me. But as a whole, I mean, the thing about online guitar lessons in general is you have to find one where it kind of like works for you, the format of it. Maybe that's the format that works for a lot of people. But there's just too many. I like TrueFire, but TrueFire can get overwhelming because you have too many options. You do. You just have too much. Pickup music is a lot more structured, but it doesn't go nearly as in depth as TrueFire does. And then, you have everybody in their individual courses. Some much better than others. But as a general purpose, the best way to learn guitar is to get somebody who's going to, in real time, give you feedback. A real lesson. Ideally in person, but if you can't do a lesson, try and find a teacher that will do a lesson with you online. Because that can help too. Because even if they just like you can see somebody's technique being bad visually while they're actually playing, you can point that out. Or if somebody's struggling with something, you could say, oh, no, think of this, and it might really help you. Whereas, a static video, you're not going to get any feedback from it. So that's the way I go about it. Mexican Charvels for under $1,000 if you want a more modern guitar. There are also a few Japanese Bolas that are sub 1,000 that you're looking at. Still more modern specs though. Those are fascinating instruments. Shape-wise, they're fascinating. I don't know if I could do it. All right. Great drummer moment. Since I always had the bag attached to the floor tom. I don't like it on the floor tom. Too noisy. It's too noisy. But being a drummer was the best though. It's a shame how impractical it is. Because being a drummer is way cooler than being a guitar player. That's a strange thing to say on a guitar YouTube channel. It is way cooler to be a drummer. I started on the drums. I never wanted to play guitar. I like playing guitar. I really do. But I like drums way more. It's just logistically, it's difficult. And when I first moved to Florida, I was able to play drums again because I had a decent little townhouse. Now my dog's going nuts. We'll see if he continues his rampage or if he calms down. But in Florida, in Orlando, I had a big enough garage where I was able to play drums. That was great. I had a real mic set up, and I had a DigiDesign 002. Yeah. Greg's the only person that'll know what that is with the faders. So I used to be able to track that whole kit. That was a great time. When I moved to California, no. It was over. It was over. There's no room for anything in California. The first studio apartment I moved into, 320 square feet studio. I barely had room for, the IKEA futon that folded out to a bed and one or two guitars, and that was it. There's no room in that place. So the drums were out of the question there. And then as I started to make money in California, I got a one bedroom that was, I think, 550 or 600 square feet, which was huge to me then. And I was happy with that. And I had an electronic kit, and guess what? I never played it. I played that kit so little that the first studio session I went to at Capricorn, the first time I went, I believe this was 2015, was the first time I recorded at Capricorn Recording Studios in San Diego. I went totally like out of shape. I had not played drums. I bought the kit, I set it up, I played it for about an hour, and I was like, yeah, I'll practice on this. I never did. I never played it since. So I had gone maybe 18 months without actually practicing drums. And I went into track drums. And like the first few was a little rough, as in like the first few takes, but like I just got right back into the groove. And my friend that was with me, Dave, he was laughing. He's like, oh, so you're actually using that electronic kit. He's like, I didn't think you liked it. I'm like, I don't, and I don't. He's like, what? He's like, so how did you do it? I'm like, it's just muscle memory. It's just muscle memory. And yeah. So finally moved back to a place where I could have a drum kit. Life fell apart. Moved back to California. Life fell apart. Now I'm in Florida. And I can't set up the drums. That was quite the diatribe, but that was really taking me down memory lane for a minute. Man. A lot I miss about California. I made some great memories there. But it's just not practical. Amongst other reasons. Can't move back. Okay, let me see here. Sorry. Sounds super cheesy? I probably did. Whatever I said was probably super cheesy. Those Epiphones were always on sale. Right back to buying. $3.99. Ugh. I don't love coil splits on any guitar. I don't care if it's a $10,000 PRS or a $200 whatever knockoff brand. I just don't like coil splits. They don't sound good to me. The only times where I find that useful is with a ton, and I mean a ton, of modulation. Like if you got a shimmer reverb, a delay, a chorus or a vibrato on, and the depth is cranked on like all of them, then the coil split has like a sound to it that I'm like, oh, that's not terrible. But in like any other situation, like if you're trying to sound like a single coil guitar, no, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. A new great guitar for 1K is tougher to find, unfortunately. I personally go used one. Good luck finding a used JG66 in this country for under $1,000. Good luck. You let me know how that works out for you. Even three-tone sunburst, that's kind of a rough one. I don't know. I think those guitars are super overpriced. Like $2,000 for custom colors. What do you get? What are you nuts? I just sold the Daphne Blue one yesterday, as a matter of fact. I sold it for $1,500. But the custom color ones are just so expensive. Just go on Reverb. Go on Reverb. It's crazy how expensive these things are. You still have two 002s? I love the 002s. That was when I got the 002, I felt like I had my own record. It was the first time I felt like I had a real home studio. So I was like, I got a console. I got a mini console. They're automated faders. They're touch sensitive. This is great. I got recall. I can do Vegas mode. I loved it. It was fun. It had the preamps built into it. Granted, they didn't sound very good. But at the time, man, I learned a lot about recording. I learned a lot about microphone placement on a drum kit. And yeah, it was super fun. And that's the best way to do anything. Is just you get your hands on stuff and just try it. If that's what you want. If you want to learn how to do something, it doesn't matter what it is. You don't need the best gear to learn. You just need stuff that can do what you want to learn. Figure it out. And then when you go on to better, more expensive stuff, it'll be a lot easier for you and you can get the best out of it. Because if you don't know what you're doing, it's just like a guitar. If you can't play worth a damn period, you can go buy a private stock. You're still going to suck a guitar. You know, you got to put the time in to learn the craft, whatever that craft is. You missed California's Mexican food. Sucks here. Don't even get me started. Won't eat Mexican food. Not here. My wife's Mexican. Won't eat Mexican food here. It's trash. There's nothing like Mexican food in Mexico. And we were literally 15 minutes away. We would randomly just get in the car and be like, "Hey, you want to go? Okay, let's go hang out for the day." Sometimes you go down to Baja. Sometimes you just you hang out in TJ. But man, so many. It seems like it was like yesterday. We're talking like a decade ago at this point. It's insane. You miss California? You've never been there, but you miss it? I only like San Diego. I only like San Diego. That's the only part of California I like. Uh, Joshua Tree's pretty cool, actually. And then like there's places like really on like the cusp of San Diego, like Alpine, where like it almost I think it snows there like once in a blue moon, but it's a bit way from the city. That's pretty cool too. But out of all like the known places in California, I only really like San Diego. I hate LA. I hate everything about LA. It's just a horrible place. San Francisco is even worse, and that's just for me what I like. Like to me, I've always looked at it like this: the biggest appeal to me to San Diego compared to San Francisco or Los Angeles was it was less busy than LA. You could get to LA if you needed to, and the weather was the best in San Diego. San Francisco had no appeal to me ever, even when I was a kid. Because if I wanted to have shit weather all the time and have it be more expensive than, reasonably justifiable, I'd just stay in New York. New York's better. New York City's better than San Francisco. New York City's better than Los Angeles if you want, like, a city life and stuff like that. So it's not even close. So to me, San Diego represented, like, California, where you could get to Hollywood and all that. On paper, I thought it would be about an hour and a half with traffic. You could double that at minimum. But, yeah. I loved San Diego. Most of it. You're not a fan of coil splits? Yeah, I just don't like them. Just don't like them. It's not a sound I like. Vegas mode, huh? Super impressive that people came in checking out the studio. Yeah, no, I remember I didn't know what it was, and a buddy of mine came and he's just like, "Can you do this?" And I was like, "Can I do what?" He's like, "Can you put it in the Vegas mode?" And I was like, "What? No, what?" And then he did some stuff. And if you don't know what Vegas mode is when all the faders basically do the wave at you, and a bunch of shiny lights pop up on the console. I was like, "Okay, what does it do? What did we enable?" He's like, "Nothing." He's like, "It's nothing. It's just for show." And I was like, "So why is it there?" I don't know. Make sure the faders still work. Oh, man. You missed Malibu. Malibu's very different nowadays. I think like if I was in LA in like the 80s, I think I'd like LA a lot more. Man, LA 2000s, 2010s, I was not a fan. I was not a fan. It's not the worst place in the world, but not my favorite. Sacramento, that I have not spent a ton of time in Sacktown or San Jose. Have you noticed how time is speeding up? Not enough time on the day compared to a few years back. Time flies, weeks, months, feels like days are 16 hours long. I've thought about that, and I thought of going crazy, but I'm not sure I'm the best person to ask to comment on that because I just don't sleep. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I feel like when you don't sleep, you have dependence, and your life isn't so much just about you. It's about like everyone else. When you become an adult, because that's what being an adult is. Like, yeah, I feel like I don't have nearly enough time in the day. Like, I get this 1 hour a week. I wanted to see how long we're going so far, 40 minutes. I get this like 1 hour a week to do this, where I get to hang out. And my wife is super cool. She's like, "Yeah, go. It's your thing for an hour." But like as a whole, like no. I feel like the reason why time feels so limited to me is because of what I just said. I just don't have time like I used to, and I think that might be a part of it. Now, whether or not there's other circumstances or things at play here that contribute to that feeling, that's up for debate. I'm not ruling it out, but yeah, I think for me it's just the fact that I don't sleep and I always have other stuff to do. You live in NorCal, Sierra Nevada. Oh man, crappy beer. I'm just kidding. That's what I think of though. All right. The older we get, the more time seems to sped up. Yeah, I agree. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know. I should ask my parents about that, how they feel. Obviously, they're a little older than I am. Well, go watch a video of an old grandfather clock and time. It takes 1.3 seconds to complete the tone. What? Oh, you're tripping me out. So when did this change? When did the first of all, okay. We're gonna do this. Let's do it right. To all 22 of you, 23 of you that are in here right now. First of all, 7 likes. I'm disappointed in you guys. I shouldn't have to say this every time. Just please hit the button. It actually helps. Uh, why would they speed up time? Who sped up time? When did this start? What did they gain out of this conspiracy? Now you might think I'm mocking you. I'm really not. Because if I'm gonna go into this or any sort of thing like this, like I gotta have all the details presented to me so I can understand it and then make my own kind of thoughts of it from there. Because if what you're saying is true, that's fascinating. That's very fascinating. Huh. Oh, it's a natural occurrence? No, that's great then. You made it a lot easier. I'll have to do my own thing. I wish I had a grandfather clock. I'd check it. Anyways, transitioning into something else. Your thoughts on vintage frets. Don't you find them too short? No, they're perfect. What are you, crazy? Do you know what I don't like? Narrow tall frets. I hate narrow tall frets, as a matter of fact. I can't stand them. They're my least favorite frets of all time. On Fender guitars. I don't play any like modern guitars. So like the thought of like extra jumbo or stuff like that I don't even take those into consideration. Basically, the fret wires that I associate are 6105s, which are narrow talls, the vintage smalls, vintage talls, medium jumbo, medium vintage, medium, and all of these might sound like, oh, they're exact same. They're slightly different, and each guitar manufacturer does things a little bit differently. But the only fret wire that I can get on with that isn't vintage small, because I love the vintage fret wire. It's my favorite. You got to remember too, like I'm sliding all up and down the board. I play a lot of funk that relies on that. So if it feels like I'm going over train tracks, I'm not gonna like the guitar. I'm not gonna like playing it. Not gonna have fun. Medium jumbos are pretty good though. They're like a really good in between. I like medium jumbos way more than narrow tall because they're just not as tall. They're not as high. But yeah. What's the difference between a 60 Jag versus 70s? What do you mean? The biggest thing is the neck profile. The neck profiles are vastly different. 60s ones are going to have a bigger taper on them. 70s ones are going to be, in general, a little bit smaller. You had a dream once that, oh, I love this. KTM 90 Endurely. I had a dream once that interdimensional beings are the ones interrupting the barriers between space and time. It was up to me to save things and return time and timeless back to normal. Then I woke up, drank some beer, and played guitar like nothing happened. You would have been somebody I would have hung out with when I was younger. For sure. Fighting like intergalactic demons in your sleep. That's how you know you're up to some wild shit in your day-to-day life. If that's the stuff that comes to you, because man, I don't know. I've had some crazy stuff happen. I remember lots of dreams, like vividly, that are wild. Like I can recall a lot of them because I've always been a lucid dreamer. So that that doesn't sound like crazy to me. Like I've had dreams that are on par with that. Some a little crazier, but that's cool though. I like that. You're not a big fan of vintage frets. Your Mustang has them. You think you prefer medium jumbos. The medium jumbos is the only kind of modernish fret I like. Once you find out their time is not constant, it's all downhill from there. It's all downhill, period. The more you overanalyze anything in this world, the more depressing it gets. That's why you smile and you find a Fender guitar you like, or just a guitar in general, and you play it. You have fun. Or you have a panic attack live on stream. SoCal was okay too. You visit for a weekend, but you could never live there. Yeah. It's all about I don't know. It's not even about where you grew up because I grew up in New York. So on paper, like, I should feel that way about SoCal, but no. I love it. All right. The alien overlords are bridge watching Earth and are skipping forward to the season finale. I hope. I hope not. I would have been. I would have been. But once you have a kid, you want everything to live as long as possible and be as normal as possible. You have been a fan of PRS SE guitars, but just discovered Tokai. My eyes have been open to the glory of used made in Japan guitars. It's not even close. You want to know something sick? Something really sick? All right. Hold on a second. Oh, this happens every time I stream. If I wait until the end of it to do a like a check on something. Ooh. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, Tokai. Sorry, I saw something else. 167,000 yen. All right, so PRS SE. Sorry. In Japan, there's a 10,000 yen difference between buying. Oh, and this is on sale too. This isn't even the normal price. What is the normal price then? Oh my god. Okay, so PRS SE in Japan, McCarty 594 is 146,000 yen on sale. A Japanese made Tokai is going to be the same price, if not less, when the PRS isn't on sale. That's a joke. That's a joke. The difference in quality between a Japanese made Tokai and a PRS SE is so freaking comical that if we had Tokais available in this country, and we take all the marketing crap. Okay, let's take all the marketing stuff. We'll just throw it in the garbage. We'll delete YouTube entirely. We'll delete magazines. The only reason people would be able to choose a guitar was they have to go and they have to try them in person. So there's no other thing. You would just play the best ones that you could afford. Nobody would buy a PRS SE McCarty 594 over a Tokai. Period. Nobody. Nobody would. It is so night and day. Night and day. The Tokais are so much better. Now, I'm not very good at this. I say this every once in a while, but it's so true, though. I'm not very good at this. I should tell you the PRS are just as good or great value. They're fine. And the reason I'm more accepting of them here is because we don't have Tokais available in the United States. But it's toys. Toys compared to the Tokais. Toys. Imagine being a guitarist in Japan. Yeah, don't even get you started. I was supposed to be living there. I'm just gonna cry. This is just your personal opinion, but everything seems very strange and artificial. Consumerism has become very boring for me. I enjoy what I own now. You'll like a video I'm going to post next week. And I'm almost done for today, but I'll kind of dive into it a little bit. All right. I don't know. For a long time, maybe since June of this year, so a relatively long time, I have had no idea what I wanted to do on here anymore. Because I am also sick of it. I am. This worked for so many years for me because I loved the Japanese guitars and I was able to import them and I was able to not be in the red and make money doing YouTube because of that on top of that. And I was covering stuff I really believed in and really loved. That's not to say that I don't still do that. But what ended up happening was, I mean, this is kind of a godsend because Lord knows what I would be doing otherwise. When Zounds approached me, their whole thing is I can borrow whatever brand I want. And that's awesome. That's great. So I'm not losing any money buying stuff. I just play it. I make videos and I post it for you guys, right? Right now, you don't even want to know how many guitars I have to demo before Christmas. You don't even want to know. I am, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to demo 6 guitars. And now this is not a woe is me thing here. I just wanted to put this in perspective for you guys, okay? Because first of all, I'm backed up because we had the holiday and then everybody in the house got sick. The cats got ringworm. It's December 4th. It's December 4th. So I got 6 guitars I gotta make videos on. And I'm gonna be honest, like, a few of them I'm probably gonna have some fun with. I'll try and, do my best for all of it, but it's not the same fun. So I'm trying to find ways to make it fun because I know for you guys, you probably think like I do. If anything, I hate this even more than most people. Like, I don't like watching just ads. I hate ads. I could tell from 5 minutes, no, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds pretty much into a video if it's just a freaking ad or if the person's going to be honest. It's really obvious to me. But then it even gets to the point where even if the person is honest, at the end of the day, the subject and the main point of the video is promotion of whatever it is they're talking about. Now, this isn't exclusive to just music. You flesh it out to anything. Anything that has a product available to it. If you like games, you like building stuff, you want to look at tools, you're trying to learn how to build something. I'm trying to learn how to build a little outdoor kind of like house/play area for my kid. And these ones that look like they're shot, by just people that don't do YouTube, they're full-on productions and they're sponsored by DeWalt or Ryobi. And then halfway into the video, you have this strange ad read for a VPN server. Everything's a freaking ad. It's not great. It's not great. But that's what pays the bills. It sucks. But that's what it is. And as much as I like new gear, I do. I really do. I said this last year and I meant it. If I didn't get anything else, I'd be fine with it. It's just this YouTube thing. It's different. It's weird. You have to keep doing things. You get left behind. And you might be thinking like, well, what do you care about that? What does it matter if you get left behind? What does it matter if less people view it? I'll tell you what matters. Because at the end of the day, if I can't make at least a little bit of money doing this, like where I'm at right now, if I wouldn't, this is like the bare minimum I'm going to do this for. It's not a lot, but it pays for a few bills. If I was to get even less views than this, or like really take a cut, I'd quit. I'd quit because I do something more valuable with my time. Because at the end of the day here, I need to at least sustain a certain amount of money with my free time that I do have. Because as we were talking about before, time is really limited. So I can provide better for my kid. And it all changed so much again. because of the Japanese stuff. Because they made it so much more expensive to import the guitars. Combine that with the fact that the market is garbage. Nobody has money. So even if I was still doing that, it's not as lucrative as it was, but I mean, it's just a weird time. And I think fundamentally all of this has to change because it's not sustainable. Like if you're struggling, because I know people like this, to pick between, you got to pay your electric bill or your car bill, the last thing you're really concerned with is another $1,000 or $2,000 guitar. If anything, you would want to click, in theory, you would want to click on something that takes your mind off of that. But whenever, and it's such a paradox, because whenever I try to do stuff like that, it flops every time. If I do anything that's like about recording, it flops. And this is nobody's fault. It's not a pity party thing. This is just, I'm a numbers person. I'm an analytics person. So I spend more time on that stuff and nobody cares. And then there's no potential money to be made. Why would I spend my time doing something like that on my end as the creator, where if I do a video on a guitar that I didn't have to pay for, I could potentially make affiliate revenue on it. And all I have to do is, this is this spec, this is that spec, here's how it sounds with every position, figure out something, recycle through the same riffs, and then get paid? I realize that was quite the monologue here. I don't know, I'm honest on these things, and I try to give you guys my perspective, but also let you know that I'm aware. I'm not dumb. And this is always the worst time of year to watch anything, because the ads are just so aggressive. It is what it is. Okay. You wish Tokais were available here? It's my top search on Reverb, but it makes me cry when you see the prices. It's difficult. It's different. And just so people like Dan don't get like upset by this, and here's the other thing I think is really silly. I'm double fisting water and Coca-Cola. You want me to be serious for a second too? Before I get into the Dan thing? I started to have a little bit of like that. You know that like that vertigo you get right before you have a panic attack? When you're getting a little heavy there? I looked at the light too much and it kind of did me in. I had to like recenter myself. I'm good now. Oh, but with the PRS thing, like I just went on a tangent before I got into the real serious talk of the matter of today. For the PRS SEs being more expensive or just as expensive or barely less expensive in some cases than a Japanese-made Tokai, and how crazy I think that was. Now, I could say something like that and I objectively believe it to be the truth. I really, it's not close to me. But I don't understand why there are some people that get like upset by that sort of thing. That's just my opinion. And I just think we're getting ripped off in this country compared to other countries in the world. And if you look at other areas, like there's other videos where you can see like if you use a VPN, your prices will go down if you're not buying the same thing from America. That's very real, by the way. So I think that our market is just different and screwed up. But yeah, if Tokais were readily available here, Gibson would start making $1,000 to $1,200 guitar again, just stay on their price point. Yeah, no. And again, yeah, all this stuff would be very different. These Epiphones, these $1,000 Epiphones, production would end immediately, like the next day. As soon as Japanese Tokai started showing up here for $1,000, Epiphones are done. That company's finished. They're finished. You're done. Gibson has to step in then. And even then, that's a tough one. I think I like the entry-level Tokais a little bit better, but a little bit different. Sounds gives you the dopamine hit without the hit to the bank account. Yeah, it's tough. What are you going to do? You got money for a guitar as a Christmas gift, and it's just miserable. Don't be miserable. Don't be miserable. Do you already have a guitar? Why not save that money then? Again, I'm a very good salesman. If you're miserable shopping for a guitar, don't shop for a guitar. If you're miserable doing anything and you have the facility to not do it, don't do it. You are in full control of things like that. Don't let it, take over for you, man. The researching, constantly making sure it's what you want. Well, that's why the best way to do it is to try in person, dude. Got to do it all in person. When you can. Or you buy from a place like Zounds where return policy is great. Like those guys are so good. I talked to the main rep that I speak to over at Zounds on the phone yesterday, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, for 2 hours. And we weren't talking shop. I think maybe 15 minutes of it was kind of talking shop a little bit. And we just like, he's an old school guy. We're very much on the same wavelength. And there's just two dudes just talking. He's such an awesome guy. And, there's not many people like that at these big retailers. So why I promote them, not just, for what I said about not having to buy all the gear, I could just borrow or whatever, but like, I really like them as people because they are real people. It's not so corporate. It's still got the same owner. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to sell you on anything, but like for me, like that stuff matters. It's not like the end all be all because if they don't have something I want, what the hell am I going to do? Buy something I don't want because they don't have what I want? That's ridiculous. But for me, those are the kinds of places I like where there's still real humans behind it and they really give a shit. You appreciate the honesty? Nah, it is what it is. Oh, the Flash Fully Gear guys? Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about those guys, but they make an absolute killing. They make an absolute killing. Their prices are nuts. Their prices are nuts. But you know what? You can't get mad at it. You can't judge them because at the end of the day, it's the same thing as Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar to the extent that people are willing to pay for it. If you're a business, you'll charge whatever the market will bear. And then when you can't do that anymore, guess what you do? You put your whole line on sale for 15% for 3 months. How many brands have done that this holiday season? Lots of them. Because times aren't good. They need to make sales. So bare minimum, 10, 15, sometimes even 20% off. It is what it is. Thanks for the advice. Yeah. You find their videos super annoying. The main guy just gets on my nerves. I've never watched one of their videos, so I can't comment on that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say anything like bad about people. I just know their pricing. That's the only thing I'm gonna talk about. Is just I know their pricing because I've seen it on Reverb, and I also know what pricing is in Japan. I did this for a little bit. Longer than those kids have. So yeah, I know. It is what it is. I don't hate them. I wish them well. But yeah. Anyways, you guys, it's 106. We went into a lot today. I gave you a lot of inside baseball. A lot. And I have so many guitars I got to film for. You guys, tomorrow's a tough one. Tomorrow's a tough one because I think it's a good guitar. It's a really good guitar. I just think the price is too much. It's sad. Sign of the times. So we'll see how I spin it in the video. I don't know. I haven't filmed that part of it yet. But I want to play a little bit more. We got the Princeton set up. Hey, that gives you a clue of what it could be. And yeah, there's a few other things I wanted to play. So I'm going to do that. And then, enjoy the rest of the day. Kind of doing dad stuff. Film at night. You'll see a video tomorrow. But that's it, you all. Born in the late 90s? Yeah, they are. They're definitely kids. That's fine, though. Now, I didn't mean to say that in a condescending way. Just they look very young. And again, I'm in my 40s. So some people would say I'm very young. But I'm getting out of here. I love y'all. Take care. Bye. I was thinking of something to say. I got nothing.